Let me get some light in. I'll take this board down. Got big windows for a reason. Get some natural light into this place. Where's that board? But yeah, I'm coming to you this morning on a Peachy Life. My name is Peachy, by the way. As a mom of 2 human babies and 2 fur babies. And I just wanted to come on here first thing in the morning, right after we got up. I usually come here a little bit later after I gotten a whole bunch of things done. But I wanted to come on here right away and just say how amazing moms are. Moms are just amazing human beings. The active, good moms that are doing this 24/7, you are amazing. If nobody has told you this today, please know that. I'm saying it. We do so much. We do so much. And it's work that's so underappreciated. It's work that people always have a lens, a judgmental lens on you as you're raising your children, as you're just going through your day to day. It's the most judged work and the least rewarded and the hardest work on the face of the planet. And I just want to give thanks. I know it's not Mother's Day yet, but I just woke up in that vibe where I was like, I need to give thanks to all the moms, to my mom. And it doesn't matter, I'm not just giving this appreciation to stay-at-home moms like myself. Even the hustle moms, moms that are running your businesses or working your careers, you know, like I grew up with a very, very work-oriented mom. She had to because she was a single parent. Um, she was married for a little while when I was a kid to my dad and then to my stepdad. But because both men were kind of trash, I'm going to be honest. They were trash, so she had no choice. She had to do it. You know? There was no other option. She just had to get up in the morning. And I completely understand the struggle and the heartbreak of getting up in the morning and leaving your children, leaving your infant. Guys, what was that timer for? I forget. I set a timer. Well, probably for the hot water to boil. I'm just making some lemon water for us to drink to alkalize our bodies. Guys, can you put the diaper pail back? Liam, can you please stop? Because when you make monster sounds, you scare your baby. He's getting my stuff. I gotta move my stuff somewhere high where he cannot reach. Please. The yelling sound, don't do that. It'll scare your baby. Keep this here, please. What show do you want to watch? Huh? Not that one. This one is charged. Find something nice. Yes, I was saying for those moms that let me come over here since there's some natural light. You can see me better here. For those moms that do wake up every morning and you leave your children to go to work so you can take care of them, so you can put food on the table, so you can dress them. Oh my gosh, you ladies are superheroes to me because I have, when my first son was 2 years old, I actually worked for a little bit. After, I think I mentioned before, like I went back, after he was born, I went back to school for early learning and childcare, just because I wanted to inform myself more about raising children in this day, and give myself more tools on how to raise children. Because where I grew up, the time I grew up, people didn't have the tools to deal with children, and they didn't understand child development very well. So we literally got abused as children, in public schools. Um, the adults didn't know how to handle child behavior. So we got hit a lot. And I wanted to make sure that I'm not transferring what I knew, right? Because people do what they know. We do what we know, and I don't want to transfer that to my children because that's something that I had, sworn to myself that I don't want to ever do that to my children. Beating your children, scolding them for just being children is just it's it's a heartbreaking thing. And I know it's hard, especially for if you've grown up in that environment and that's what you know, that's what you've seen. Chances are you're going to repeat what you know, just like with anything in life, any other form of abuse, you're going to repeat what you know. So I wanted to get that out of my, I wanted to replace that with a more positive, updated way of parenting. So I went to early learning and childcare, got my did my courses, finished, but to get my certificate, I had to do a practicum. So I ended up having to leave my 2-year-old to go into a daycare facility and do the practical stuff. And it was one of the most emotionally painful experiences of my life. Guys, let me know if you can't hear me. I'll just try to speak up a little bit because first thing in the morning, usually I'm soft-spoken. My voice is kind of low. It does rise through the day because of kids. I have to have to be firm and raise your voice a little bit or they just won't listen. I have to try to be a little bit louder than this. Especially if I can hear him getting into something and he's in the other room and I'm here. Maybe if I drink some warm lemon water. I know singers, vocalists drink warm water just to open up those vocals. Basically, it's just relaxing the vocal muscles so they can contract easier. But yes, I think that's better, isn't it? Yeah, now I can kind of project a little bit more. So yes, what was I saying? I was saying about mothers who leave their children to go to work. I know how heartbreaking that is. I had to do that when my son was 2. And there is no easy way to mother. There's no easy way. Whether you stay at home with them and take care of them 24/7 as a full-time stay-at-home mom, like I'm doing, or you leave and you go to work, you get your hustle on so you can pay bills, you can clothe your children, and you don't get to see your children for 8 to 9, sometimes 10 hours a day. It's all hard. It's all very, very, very hard, grueling, hard work that the only people that reward you are your children most times. Society doesn't recognize this type of work. They don't recognize most female or matriarchal oriented jobs. They're very underpaid if they're paid at all, and this job is not, it's not paid at all. Not that I'm expecting to be paid to raise my own children, but I'm just saying how undervalued we are in society. So we are dealing with the pressures of, raising our kids every day and those hurdles, and then also the social lens, the social judgment on us. We're judged very harshly as mothers and very easily. People, for some reason, just feel entitled, very entitled to judge mothers. I don't know. It's just thinking of all those things, So when I see working mothers, when I see mothers that are trying to do things for themselves, like myself, and I see, other vloggers. I need to wash your cup so I can give you some water. Other vloggers and other content creators that are also stay-at-home moms and full-time mothers, and I see the ones that have built obviously a much bigger platform than I do right now. I see them get judged so harshly that it breaks my heart. One of them that I follow actually yesterday, I'm not going to mention who it is, but I noticed, and I watch this lady every day. She's a phenomenal mother. She's a phenomenal mother. But somebody, one of her followers, or called Child Protective Services on her. I mean, maybe they saw something in the video that they misconstrued. I don't know. I've watched the exact same videos. I have never seen her lay a finger or harm or be harsh towards her children in any way whatsoever. She's a loving mother. She appears as a loving mother from the videos I see. And for most moms to come on here and share their lives like this, we don't do this for vanity. Okay? I don't understand people sometimes. I think people are just different, hey? People are just different. They see what they want to see. But for most of us moms, we're not doing this for vanity. If I was doing this for an income, which personally, I'm not gonna lie, I do this as a hobby because, like I said, I don't have time to really do any other hobby where I can parent my children at the same time. That balance, it's hard. So this is something I can do. I'm an artist. I like filming. I've always loved filming. So this is something that kind of satisfies both areas. But if I could grow my platform and earn a living from it at the same time, why not? I would not reject that at all. That would just be a bonus because that will help me to put more that will help me to reach my goal for savings for my children's education fund. And that's a very, very important thing for me. I really, really want to save. I do save for their education. The little money that I do have come across, because I don't have an income. So the little money that I do earn here and there, since they were born, I put it away for their education. Because education, as we all know, is so expensive, especially post-secondary education. It's so expensive, and it's becoming more and more expensive for each generation. I personally went to post-secondary and had to get a student loan that I only paid off with that job that I told you, the practicum I did. I was lucky that daycare they were short-staffed, so they wanted to hire me. So it's not the usual, but it was just they were in a crunch and they saw the opportunity and they're like, okay, let's hire her. So I ended up doing my practicum, and then when I finished my practicum, I had a paid job where I was earning an income. So yeah. And I ended up paying off my student loan with that income and some of our tax return. And some of our tax return money after we did taxes at the end of the year. So that took me how many years to pay off my student loan? Let's see. It took me 8 years. It took me a good 8 years to pay off my student loan. Here, drink some water. Here, drink. Oh no, you're just biting up my stuff. Oh, baby. I know you're upset, but this is not good for you. This is a choking hazard. You shouldn't have this. I took the pens from him. He must have grabbed them off the board when I put it down. The one I moved. Okay, let me give him something else. Something else more child appropriate. What am I going to give him? You guys have lots of toys. You have lots of toys that you're not playing with anymore. They have lots of toys they're not playing with anymore. So today I think I have to rotate the toys. I don't know if you remember, I mentioned earlier in my other lives that I do toy rotation. So once they're like this and they're just like bored and whining, they're not playing with the toys that are in front of them anymore. Let's show you guys. Liam, just leave him. He'll drink his water when he's ready. Aw, baby. Right? Okay, I'm sorry. Come. Oh, I'm sorry I took it from you. I'm sorry. You don't like when people take things from you. I know. I know you don't like it. I know you really don't like it. Yes. Can we find you something interesting then? Like what? No, I don't like you playing with those letters. Because... Oh no. Oh no. How about this box? You want to grab something from that box? There's like nice toys in there. You want to grab something? Look. Look. There's a giraffe. And there's a clock. Ooh, clock. This clock can talk. Look.
I like it.
Yeah, but please let him play because I want him to play with something.
I want to play with you too.
You know what the other problem is? I don't have Peppa Pig on. He loves Peppa Pig. He likes this too, but Peppa Pig is like his go-to. He has to have a dose of Peppa Pig at least once in the morning, and then he's good for the rest of the day. So, let's open those. Oh, I love these big windows, guys. Aren't they gorgeous? I'm gonna miss these windows. That's the thing with old houses, you have massive windows. Newer houses, you get the newness, but you get a little window. Like, you get tiny little windows. Unless you just build your own house, of course. That way you can pick how you want it. But yes. Oh. I feel that energy coming now. Oh, goodness. Here it comes. What do I need to take here? I need to take some apple cider vinegar supplements. This is for treating my uterine fibroids. I made a video about... Liam, stop please. You see? You're scaring him away again. With the noises. Can you please stop? Or you're gonna go... You know where you're gonna go? You're gonna go play with your toys downstairs because all the toys here are baby toys. Your toys, you have a whole basement down there to yourself. But you're up here screaming at the baby and scaring him. Mommy needs to clean. So can you please be a good boy? And make good choices, please. Okay? I'm giving you one more chance. One more chance, and then you go to... I'm gonna carry you down to the basement myself. And then you can play there with your toys.
By myself all day?
Well, not all day, but yes, by yourself. It's still the same house. It's not like I'm locking you away somewhere. You're just downstairs. You usually play down there. So please let the baby play with his toys, because now look, you've hijacked his toys. But you weren't even interested in them just now. Can you build your train track so we can show everyone? Get your train track over there and then turn the train on. Build your train track and the station. And who's going to catch the train? Somebody has to wait at the station so they can catch the train. Who's it going to be? Is it going to be Huey? Build it for him. Come on, build it. We can build it. We can build it. No, you don't need help. You'll be fine. Build it. Try to, okay, you start, and then if you need help, call mommy, then I'll come and help you, okay? Come on, you can build it. Oh my goodness. These kids. Where was I? I was doing something here. Yes, drinking my lemon water. Sorry guys, I like to talk about in-depth stuff. Like I like to, you know. This is not one of those pages where I'm gonna come on here and just show you cleavage and shake my booty or anything like that. Not that there's... Liam, remember what I told you about the noises? You're making too much. Again. Go on the squares, the square blocks over there by the window, and build your train there. Okay? And please don't make those noises, because it scares your baby away. And he needs to play too. What was I saying? I was saying, oh, jeez. Not that there's anything wrong with, you know, women, moms that feel comfortable expressing themselves that way. It's just, that's their choice. I mean, come on, go in there. It's just a choice. It's just an expression. If it was a video with men doing that, which men do that all the time and have always done that as long as I've seen any form of media, like movies or even music videos, you know, men that do like to flaunt their sexuality, like Prince for one, you know, just off the top of my head. Nobody judges them for that, but for some reason when it's women, there's a much harsher judgment for it. And I feel like, and I'm not blaming any one gender, like, oh, men are the ones who are doing this. No, other women are just as judgmental towards other women as men are towards women. It's a social culture thing that we've developed, and it's something we need to reevaluate, and we need to learn better skills and better tools of dealing with each other as human beings, in my opinion. Because as we saw with COVID, when that whole... Liam, can you stop? You want me to take you downstairs now then? He's running away because he doesn't like those sounds. It's scaring him. Okay, we're going... We're going. No, we're going. I told you I gave you one more chance. You're not built. Look, your train track is not built. It's not even ready. I love you too, sweetheart. You are not listening to mom, and I don't like when you're not listening. Can I give you a kiss too? my goodness. Sorry, people. That took a while. So he's upset now. But he's not understanding, like, the living room is a small space. We designated that just for the baby. He has baby mats and everything. Because they can't share a play space. His toys, he has, like, little Lego pieces. Things that are choking hazards for the baby. So that's why he gets to have the entire basement to play for himself. And right now he has a lot of energy, obviously. He just woke up. Sometimes he's a kid. He's 4 years old, so he's going to have energy. But the energy doesn't match up with a 1-year-old. It's too much for a 1-year-old. When he's doing what he's doing, it's scaring the baby. And I can't get anything done because the baby keeps running over here like, you know, Mom, I'm scared, right? But he has an entire basement with things that are appropriate for his age to play with. Things that will help him burn that energy. He even has like a mini trampoline down there he can jump on. He has all kinds of stuff down there. There's room for him to run for days if he wants to run down there. So sometimes, you know, you just have to, you know, make that decision as a parent and be like, okay, well, I've tried talking to you, you're not listening. And kids don't always listen, and you have to redirect them, right? And that's just me. I have to move him from the situation for everybody's sanity. And once he's down there and he realizes he's surrounded by his favorite toys and he has all this space, he'll be fine. He'll play, right? But, just, it's a bit exhausting. It's a bit exhausting. But, yeah. I really have to, I'll do a video of the rotation and show you how I do toy rotation later on today. Because I wanted to do it this morning, but I'm not going to get time because I woke up to all these dishes in the kitchen from last night. We just make so much dishes, right, with little kids too. And we did dishes last night, but because we're hand washing, we have a dishwasher, but we don't really like using the dishwasher. So because we're hand washing, the spot we put the dishes on to dry was full, so we couldn't fit any more dishes on there, so we had to let them dry. Oh, that's gross, his teeth. It has mushed up blueberries. Okay, let me use this strain thing. But yeah, so I still have quite a considerable amount of dishes to do. Otherwise I would have done the toy rotation this morning for you guys to see. But this is Mummy Life, and this is just showing you guys what I mean. Like, if you guys are followers of like mom bloggers, and you see them coming on these lives, and you see them sharing their lives with you, entertaining you, singing, dancing, whatever, you know, telling you stories, whatever they're doing, please have some compassion. Please have some consideration that woman is doing her best when the cameras are not on for just those, 20 minutes, half an hour that it's on. All she's doing is caring for her kids, taking care of her kids. And coming on these lives is just one more way of her caring for her kids. And because I feel like social media, I mean, society generally does judge women, but I feel like social media makes it so easy, so much easier for people to judge because they're just hiding behind, you know, a screen, behind a computer, a phone, and there's a disconnect, right? You don't really feel any accountability for what you're saying, because you could have a fake account that doesn't really represent your true identity, and you know you can get away with hurting people, you know, and people are weird. Some people are just abusive, maybe because they were abused as children, and we all know, as Oprah says, hurt people hurt people. So I was just really saddened, guys, when I was like following some of the amazing moms that inspire me every single day with their social media content. They really inspired me, you know, to pursue my own, you know, hobby and the things that I enjoy. And made me realize that it's not just all about momming 24/7 in the traditional sense, like what I normally do every day, just wake up, take care of kids, change diapers, feed babies, wash babies, take babies for a walk, take babies to play, give babies, reefer babies. Like, it's not just that, just the chores, right? You can also mother in a different way. You can also, when you are more fulfilled as a human being, you have more to give. That's just a well-known fact, right? And doing things like this to either earn a living or just sustain your creative desires, have an outlet for your creative desires, or both, that's still a part of being a good mom. That's still very much a part of being a good mom. That's what I'm trying to say. That's still a part of mothering, right? And it's okay. It's okay to want something, a little something for yourself as a mom. And usually with moms, it's not completely that selfish. We can never be completely selfish. Even the things we do for ourselves, you know, we also share with our children, directly or indirectly, you know. I know a lot of moms on social media that dedicate their work to their children, and they use that money that they earn to, you know, invest for their children's futures. Even if they don't do that directly, which I'm pretty sure most moms do that, just being able to have that outlet for yourself makes you a better mom, because you're fresher, you know, you're not as frustrated, you're not as stressed, because it's a stressful thing to just, you know, be doing chores with nothing that gives you pleasure for yourself. We're pleasure-based species, you know. Not that taking care of children doesn't have its own pleasure that you derive from that, but I mean just for yourself as an individual, right? We all need our own thing, and I think that's what people are failing to realize about moms, that, you know, moms are human beings. Human beings with feelings, emotions, needs. So anyway, I know this one's gonna be a boring video for most. I'm not really entertaining you. I'm just more lecturing you. You know, some of you might see it that way. And this might not even relate to most people because most of you do respect, moms and working women. And most of you do have the sense to not berate and abuse people online. So I guess I'm talking to those few trolls or whatever you want to call them these days that feel entitled to someone's life, someone's emotions, someone's happiness. Those people, that are trying to fill their own void by belittling and making other people's lives hard. I'm talking to you people. I know it's not a lot of you, but if you see this, I just want to remind you, in a world where everything is becoming commercialized, everything from water, and maybe even the air we breathe, there's still a few things that are free. And that's human compassion, empathy, and love. If you practice those every day, and just at the very least, if you can't show someone that, just show them some basic human decency. My mom always said, if you have nothing good to say, don't say anything at all. You will lose nothing by just being silent and not saying anything at all. Maybe you just don't like that person. That's fine. You can't like everyone, and nobody expects to be liked by every single person. I'm doing dishes, sweetie. Nobody's expecting, people to like everyone. I know I have celebrities that when I watch them perform in movies or whatever, I absolutely just cringe. I don't know why. I just don't like them. And I can't even tell you why I don't like them. I don't know. It's just a thing, right? Maybe something about them rubbed me the wrong way, but it's a knee-jerk. This is the thing. Sometimes as human beings, we have these knee-jerk reactions to things, but it doesn't mean that we fully understand the gravity of what's going on. We're just seeing these things from a distance, right? We're just seeing clips of just short periods, moments of these people. And oftentimes we don't use our critical thinking skills to be like, okay, that was just like a moment that I just saw of that person. What is that person really like to the people around him, to the people, behind closed doors? Because the reality is you have no clue. And you can't tell from just, that instance. But we have this thing ingrained in us where, how they say first impressions matter, or first impressions last forever. So you could easily get the wrong first impression of somebody, and then that just sticks, and then you just walk around going, I don't like that person, I don't like that person. But is there a real valid reason to not like that person? Like a real informed reason to not like that person? Chances are no. Chances are, if you've never met that person and you've only seen them for a few minutes, either on TV or online, chances are you don't really have an in-depth, you don't really know them like how you could know like your friends and family members or people you work with every day. But we're quick to judge, and it's a primal thing. It's a survival thing for us that we have that, but we have to step outside of survival at some point as a human race and start using the other skills that we have as the intelligent species that we are, which is our critical thinking skills. Like when I think of the celebrities that I told you about, that just when I see their faces, I just cringe. I don't like them. I just don't like them. And it's not even their art form, it's not their work. It's not that they're bad artists or anything like that. No. Sometimes it's just they remind me of somebody that wronged me in the past that I just don't like. It could be just as simple as that. Or sometimes maybe, you know, all this gossip magazines or the media portray them in a light for just like 2 minutes in a light that I didn't approve of or I didn't like. But that's 2 minutes out of an entire person's whole life. That's what we're not realizing when we're, you know, online and consuming these entertainment forms. Like, this is literally just 2 minutes out of an entire, even if it's an hour out of an entire person's life. So I think it's a little rash for us to, I mean, we're gonna judge because we're human beings, we're gonna judge. But do we need to hold on to that judgment, or do we have the capability to reflect on why we came to that judgment, the capability to use our critical thinking skills and say, how much of this person's life is this little aspect that I'm judging the entire being off of, right? How much of this person's existence is unknown to me? How much of this person's actions and works and behaviors are completely unknown to me? So am I really in a position to really judge this person? Right? And when we start to think like that, we really start using those higher intellect, those higher faculties that as a human species we have, you know, that other species don't have, like dogs, cats. If a dog decides it doesn't like you, it just doesn't like you, that's it. If a cat decides it doesn't like you, that's it. For the rest of its life, it doesn't like you. But we have these higher faculties, these higher intellectual capacities that we can access in our brains and say, okay, I decided I don't like this person. Yes, maybe it was an instant emotional reaction. It was a knee-jerk reaction. But let me use my logic, my intellect. Why don't I like this person? Okay, I saw something I didn't like for, 2 minutes. And does that reflect the entire being? Is that justified to judge that person's entire existence? And usually if you think that way and you evaluate things that way, you realize that no, you can't possibly judge that person. So for me, even those those celebrities that make me cringe when I see them on TV, I try to always remind myself, like, whatever it is I'm cringing about, it has nothing to do with them. They didn't do anything to me. If I ever met them in person, I would show them the utmost human respect, just basic human decency, right? If I had nothing else to give, if I saw them in person, and even if seeing them, that experience, that encounter justified, that dislike that I felt initially, maybe they did something in that moment that I met them, I would still show them just basic human decency, right? I wouldn't say horrible things to them. I wouldn't try to ruin their life in any kind of way, right? But this is what people are doing online. Like, what have we become as a human race? We're on here trying to really ruin people's lives. We're trying to take people's children away. Like, oh my God. Why? It's never that serious, people. Okay? Things are never that serious. I mean, of course, if you did really, really see someone online, like, literally beating on their children in front of the camera and there's proof and everything, yeah, I mean, go ahead. Sure, I get that. There's harm being done. But just seeing moms online just taking care of their kids, and disciplining their kids, or talking firmly like I just had to do now, and talking firmly to their kids to stop them from doing harmful things to themselves or to their siblings, or, that's just parenting. And because you don't like that person, you decide, oh, yeah, they're abusive or whatever. And you try to ruin. And the thing is, you're not. This is another angle that I've noticed with some people. Some people become so narrow-minded in their emotions that they think, I want to punish that person by punishing their kid, by doing something or taking away their kids or whatever it is, especially with children, because I can tell you from experience, like my parents were in an abusive relationship with each other, particularly my father. He was a very abusive man, and he decided that because the relationship wasn't working and my mom stood her ground and she's like, I'm not going to stay here and be abused in front of my children, she decided she wanted a divorce. So it's like he was so bitter and insulted by that. I think he expected her to stay, and just suck it up and just take the abuse. But because she decided to stand her ground and leave, he decided that to punish her, he's not going to take care of me, his child. He's not going to be involved. He's not going to take care of me financially. He's not going to provide any financial help or anything. Like, I've financially never, never gotten anything from my father since the day I was born. I know that for a fact. So I always knew he's not someone I can rely on in that area. When he saw me, he'll be like, "Oh, I love my daughter, I love my daughter." But if you asked him for help, and I had asthma growing up, so sometimes there'd be medical bills from, like, I remember I had an asthma attack that I remember. I actually have memory of this, where I had a near-death experience. Like, I remember literally, getting to that point of almost dying. And then it turns out I actually did die for a few minutes. I was pronounced dead. And, well, not pronounced dead, but I was, like doctors were like, oh my gosh, they thought they lost me. And then they just worked extra hard and got me back. And that experience changed my whole world. Even though I was a little child, I was just a little kid. It changed my whole perception of life and how I see the world. And that's why I try to operate from a place of compassion and understanding, and that even though people think differently and are different, we still all deserve that basic human common decency, right? And yeah, basically what I'm saying is my dad just took on this stance that, yeah, I'm not going to help you with the medical bills. I'm not going to help you. You chose to leave, right? You chose to leave, so you can take care of it by yourself. And that's basically the stand he's taken for all 36 years of my life. And do you want to know who that's hurt the most? Because my mom was a working woman. She was a career woman. She became way more successful financially than my dad was. And she was able to give me a life that is way better than anything that I could have had if she had stayed in that abusive situation where she was kind of restrained from being her best and doing her best. And if I had lived with him, I would have never experienced the amazing life that my mom was able to give me by herself. Because I see now, like, the life my dad's kids with his wife now that they're living. That's the kind of life I would have had. I would have just been stuck in that paradigm. And I'm so glad that I wasn't. I mean, kudos to them. They're living their life. Whatever, if they're happy with it, that's fine. But I know in my soul I would not have been happy with that life. And it's so limiting to who I am. I'm such a free-spirited human being, and I think I needed that. I needed a mom that stands her ground and breaks free and does her own thing. And she gave us an amazing life growing up. She gave us a life experience that, oh, that pales in comparison to a lot of even, I mean, this was in Africa, a woman by herself, you know, worked her way up to upper middle class. You know, she she could afford things that, even people that I see here in Canada, in North America, that are wealthy couldn't even afford. The things that we experienced, the luxuries that we experienced, right? And I've always been grateful for that. I was never spoiled. I was always grateful for that experience, because I looked around and I could see around me that it could have very easily been the other way. Very easily. And I was lucky to have siblings, from half siblings or whatever, from my dad, that I could see how their trajectory of their life ended up, and the damage, the emotional damage that they carry with them. But they're, to them it's life, like a fish. Does a fish know it's wet? They're in that. So do they realize the psychological damages that they grew up seeing, that they have in them? No. But anyways, like, let me get back to this, the hurting thing, trying to hurt someone by doing something to by saying, oh, I'm not going to support your child, or I'm going to take your child away. That hurts the child the most, because I don't think in my life I have resented someone as much as I resented my father when I was a child, especially when I was a child. I mean, now I've kind of let go of all that resentment, because I'm like, whatever. My life is way better for it anyways. I see that now. But I mean, as a child, not understanding what was happening, I internalized a lot of that, a lot of that behavior, a lot of that him deciding he's not going to help financially. Even when we were living in the same country, he's not going to help. I remember my mom and him having a fight when I was really, really young. Maybe I was like 4 years old, because I needed a cough syrup. And that time a cough syrup wasn't even that much money. And my mom asked for help, because she had to buy other things, other medications. She had to pay the medical bills for me even going to the hospital. She had to cover everything. She had to cover the clothes that I wear every day. She had to cover the food that I eat, breakfast, lunch, supper, everything that I needed. The equipment that the stationery I needed for school. We wore uniforms back then, so the uniform I wore, everything that I needed as a child, my mom covered it. And she just asked for one thing that would have cost, that would not even have hurt his budget. I remember she asked for that cough syrup, and that was for my asthma. That was to help me breathe, right? And I was there. I was a child. I saw it myself. This is first-hand experience. It's not something hearsay. It's not. I didn't even hear this from someone. And I saw my dad go, no, I can't help because I have my own financial. This is something he always said. I have my own financial problems. I have my own financial problems. He always said that. And she was insisting, like, it's only cough syrup, right? And I remember he took out, we call it a quarter here. It was 25 cents. I remember clearly. It was 25 cents that he took out of his pocket, and he literally handed it 25 cents to her. And she's like, what's that going to do? I don't want that. 25 cents, it's not going to cover the cost of medication. I remember this discussion. Oh my gosh, the things I remember. And she's like, I'm not going to take it, right? And somehow, I think maybe like she flipped it away or whatever, and it ended up on the ground. So I picked it up, because I'm a kid. It's 25 cents. I'm thinking, wow, 25 cents. Well, my mom doesn't want it. The things I could get with this. I can buy candy, because there's like street vendors and stuff that sell candy, and you get candy for like 10 cents or whatever. I'm like, oh my gosh, how many candies that I could get. And I wanted to keep it, but then my mom was like, no, give it back to him. If he's not going to help, like, don't freaking throw 25 cents to us. And that's a memory that I have, and that memory has stayed with me my entire life. I'm at peace with it now. I understand why my dad did that. I understand where he was coming from doing that. I understand my mom's position as well. because I'm an adult, I'm able to process these things now. But for a long time as a child, how do you process that? We don't have the tools to process that. So I had a lot of pain, just heartbreak. And that's why I've even told my dad. My dad doesn't understand. I've told him, listen, you are the first human being. Oh, the party's in here now. I'm gonna move over here. I told him, I said, you're the first human being that broke my heart. Because he thought that he was punishing my mom. But then he ended up punishing me, his child that he claims to love so much. And he did. He really did break my heart. Like, he shattered my heart into a billion pieces. And I had to work by myself to repair that. I had to fix that. I had to find the tools on my own. I had to seek the help for myself through therapy, through whatever, to work through that and fix it by myself, right? So by the time I met him, you know, when I was much older, and this man's like trying to talk to me and tell me what I should be doing or whatever, it just angered me because I was like, dude, I've come this far on my own. The part that the child needs, you know, where I needed my dad for certain supports, even emotional support, I had to find that for myself because my mom can't do everything. She can't work. She can't come home, cook, clean, take care of us, and provide some of the things that is the dad's role to provide. She can't do that. And I understood that. But it's still damaging because as a child, you need to then now find tools by yourself out there in the world. And while you're seeking those tools, some people will try to take advantage of you. They'll see your vulnerability and try to take advantage of you. You go through so much, right? And the reason I'm telling you this story is not to just be on here, you know, bashing my parents like, oh, you know, they made these mistakes and they did such a bad job or whatever. No. The reason I'm telling you this is to show you that when people come from that stance of, oh, you know, I'm not gonna, you know, I'm not gonna help you with bills, like especially men. When you guys separate, you get divorced, and you know, I'm not gonna help my children financially. I'm not gonna do this. I'm not gonna do that. You're hurting your children the most because women, us adults, the grown-ups, we're busy. Okay, now we're single parents. We don't have time to think about you or anything. We're full on busy, just hustling, trying to take care of our kids because we're in that mode. We have no choice, right? You get to a point where you have no choice. You have to do it yourself. So, I mean, we don't have time to sit there and wallow in our pain and be like, oh my gosh, that guy left me. He said he's not going to help me with the bills or whatever. We don't have time for that. Like, the moms don't have time for that. So they're just hustling, going on about their business. The people that are sitting there really internalizing what you're doing, what you've chose to do, are your children. Really feeling like they did something wrong to deserve that treatment and that behavior. Those are your children. And the same can be said with just trolls online as well. If you're trolling people and you're seeing moms out there that are working hard, you know, creating content or whatever, if you don't like their content, please just leave respectfully. Okay, leave respectfully. Don't try to ruin their lives. Don't try to ruin their work. Don't try to ruin their reputation. You know, don't do things like, you know, you see them, you know, talking firmly to their children and then you, you know, this boy that cried wolf and oh my gosh, you equate it to them freaking bludgeoning their children or something and calling child protective services. Like that really broke my heart when I saw that happened to this mom that I follow, like that somebody actually did that to her. And it made me really reflect like, wow, okay, this is something that I enjoy doing as well, and she's inspired me to do something similar, and I'm really wanting to build this platform and possibly maybe let it grow. It doesn't even have to grow to the size of hers or anything. Just, you know, just to have something that I'm proud of that I did for myself, right? But do I now run the risk of having people that I am inviting into our lives, into my life, end up judging like a split second of our lives or 2 minutes of our lives and doing things like, calling child protective services on me for whatever reason, like that just made me really think like, this comes with so many other abusive nuances, like, because you're dealing with a public, right? You become a public figure in a sense, so you're dealing with a lot of loving people, like a lot of followers are loving people. Of course they're loving, they watch your life because they see the value in you and your content. But then there's those people that are just, maybe they're just abusive even in their personal lives. I'm gonna guess, I don't know, but they're just abusive. So when they come on there, they take advantage and they want to abuse you in every kind of way. But I feel like there's a line that people don't cross, that line where you want to ruin someone just because you don't like them. You're gonna punish the children. You take a good hardworking mom that loves her children, and you take her away from her children because you just don't like her content. You don't like how she dresses. You don't like how she moves. You don't like how she talks. And you put those children through hell because now they're going to go through the system, right? They're going to go through, what is it called again? Yeah, they're going to be put in the system basically and not have their parents, because that's what happens. They're not going to take the child, and I don't know, some of you are picking sides because I guess they're going through a divorce or whatever, like, oh yeah, they're gonna take them and hand it to their dad or whatever. No, they're gonna take the children and put them in the system first, into like foster care first, and then settle things, do investigations and whatever, and then maybe put them at the dad. But then it's a vile, that's a vile way. You are putting those children, it's the children you're putting through the most. You're putting those children through way too much, way too much trauma. And if you really cared, if you're on that channel and you're watching and you really truly care about children, you wouldn't do it that way. Why don't you contact the viewer and say, I saw this, maybe I misinterpreted or whatever, but can you explain what's going on? Or I would appreciate if you do things differently. I don't know, like, fail to do as adults when we're emotional and we're having those emotional ego battles with people. We always, whether it's through divorce or whatever, we always forget to consider the children first and what the children need. What is best for the children, right? Anyways, obviously this is something that really struck a chord in my heart because I've spent the last 65 minutes just talking about this. I don't know. I don't know if it's going to make a difference, but I'm going to put this out. I'm going to put this content out. Hopefully somebody watches it. Hopefully it reaches someone and it invokes the better part of you, right? Hopefully. I don't know. It might not. It might not do anything. It might not reach anyone. I don't know. But I just felt like I need to try. And at least if it doesn't get out there to anyone, if it doesn't change anyone's mind, then at least I've used this as a platform to just vent. Because, and get this off my chest and not just carry it with me. So yeah. That's all I have to say about that. I'm gonna go and finish what I'm doing, and then when I do the toy rotation, I'll come back and show you guys how I do that. All right, ciao.